government can't control everything without controlling
The Geek Speak Radio Show on TalkZone.com.
That's my favorite scene.
Yes.
From Back to the Future.
Barry, Chuck. You know, it's your cousin Marvin.
Marvin Barry.
Yeah, that new sound that you're looking for. Yeah, Chuck Berry. What a classic.
So again, welcome back to the Geek Speak Radio Show, celebrating Back to the Future Day. Blu-ray trilogy. All of you went and got it yesterday, but if you haven't, it's still out in stores. Maybe there's 2 or 3 left. There were a lot of lines out there. I know because I was there fighting to get my copy. But it's all out in stores. Go out and get it, and you'll see everybody that we talked to. Well, you won't see Bob Gale except in the extras, but you will see Claudia Wells play Jennifer Parker, and James Tolkan is on the phone with us right now, who played Mr. Strickland in all 3 of them. So, James, let's go back.
Now, let me make a slight correction. You know, I played Mr. Strickland in the first and second, but in the third one, I played Strickland's grandfather.
Right.
In the Western.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite roles right there, too. But how was this filming on part 3? How was the set?
As far as the set? Well, the set.
Yeah.
It was terrific. We were filming in the gold strike country there, and of course, it rained for 3 weeks straight while they were waiting to get the last shot they needed of me, and that was unexpected early weather, and it sort of delayed things for a little bit, but we got it done, and it was all great. Listen, these are a great bunch of people to work with, and we were treated, the actors, and we were all treated wonderfully.
Had you ever done a Western before, or was that your first experience doing that?
No, I've not done a Western. That's the closest I've got to playing a Western.
That must have been really fun.
Well, it was fun, and I was brought up on horseback. My old man was in the horse business. My grandfather was in the horse business, so I felt right at home when getting on a horse.
And so we're talking Back to the Future today, of course, but you also had parts in some 2 other big movies, in War Games and Top Gun. And there are talks of remakes for both. What do you think of that? And has anybody contacted you about reprising your role in Top Gun?
No, and I've heard that, and it doesn't surprise me, but they're not going to get Tom Cruise again, I don't believe, unless they want to get him to play some other character.
Well, no, today we got a story that they actually want him to be the main character in this sequel, I guess it is.
Oh, fantastic. I hope it happens. You guys know more than anybody. I mean, just listening to you between now and the last time I spoke, I got more information on Hollywood than I ever get in about 2 minutes there.
We're doing our job then.
Yeah, you're doing your job, really. Well, I hope it happens. It's a big movie.
Would you want to be a part of it if they asked you?
Well, of course.
Even if it's just a cameo?
Yeah, I would do it. You know, Top Gun was an iconic picture of, again, about 25 years ago. And it's still going strong. I
think it's going to be 25 next year, as a matter of fact, because it came out a year after Back to the Future.
Okay, that's about right. Yeah.
And we, like I said, we mentioned a lot of movies today are being remade or reimagined, as they call it now. Are you glad Back to the Future hasn't been touched, or do you think it should be reimagined?
I don't have an opinion of that one way or the other. I think it's been done after 3 episodes of Back to the Future. I think that's it. And, I don't know. Maybe they could do something more, but I hope they don't in a way. The 3 we've done are just about right.
Yeah, we all agree with you. I think it's the perfect ending, and just leave it alone. Doesn't need any more.
Absolutely. And War Games, you're talking about War Games. 1973, that's one of the first movies I made. You know, I'm a New York actor. I'm a theater actor. I'm a Broadway actor, off-Broadway, regional theater. I worked for 30 years in the theater before I ever went out to Hollywood to work.
Tell us about some of the movies you did before War Games and all the ones we know you for.
Well, I should say, do you remember Love and Death, the Woody Allen picture?
Yeah.
Well, I played Napoleon in that. Again, that was 1973, and that's a funny movie. I've seen it recently, and I think I'm glad I was in that. And then Serpico, again, that was 1973, a Sidney Lumet picture with Al Pacino. Mm-hmm. I had a very small but very tough part in that, a memorable part. And then later on I did Prince of the City, directed by Sidney Lumet. and that was about police corruption, and that was the favorite movie I've ever done. And it was actually from Prince of the City that Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale thought of me, and nobody else was ever even thought of for the role of Principal Strickland.
Speaking of Mr. Strickland, your role with, your interaction with Michael J. Fox is just classic. I was just wondering, is there some story that we can get that is not in the DVD itself?
I don't think so. No. We just go there, we do our work, we play the scene, and we're all professionals, and I don't think there's anything I could add to that, actually. It's all afterthought at this point.
And like I was saying, you have been in some very iconic films, and like Serpico, you just mentioned, and the War Games, and Top Gun.
I recently found out that I was awarded the bald-headed actor's Rotten Tomato Awards for the roles that I played throughout the years, starting with Serpico and all these characters I played, and it was quite an honor for me, really. A Rotten Tomato Award, I get such a kick out of it. Yeah.
So what? You're not active in acting anymore. What do you do today?
Today? Oh, yeah. God, it's a gorgeous day up here where I live in Lake Placid. I'm on 41 acres. I built my own house here. I'm surrounded by mountains. I'm right on the river. Yesterday, I took out my Lotus for my last drive of the summer before I put it away for the winter. And I walk my dogs. I bring in the wood. Pretty soon I'll be shoveling snow. I'm in the gym 3 hours a week. I just live the good life now. I feel very, very lucky, very, very happy, and very content.
Just enjoying life.
Yeah, really. After all those years, and I've survived. I've had good and bad, but I've survived it all, and I just can't believe that I'm here living this good life now.
From having played the Mr. Strickland character, I'm sure you're gonna live for a long, long time on film, at least.
Oh yeah, and of course, I'm doing these autograph shows. And I cannot believe the people that come up and want my picture and autograph and all that stuff. It's quite something.
It's a very beloved character, Mr. Strickland, as well as
and it's not a very big part at all. But somehow it struck a chord with people, and it seems to be memorable. So, all the stuff I've done in the theater, and I've done a lot of good work in the theater. It's amazing. You do a couple of big movies, and that's what you're remembered for, it seems like. Especially
Slackers. That's the one line that's remembered everywhere.
I always say, Slackers of the world unite. Right.
So again, we're talking to James Tolkan, who played Mr. Strickland and his grandfather in the third one.
Yeah.
So again, James, thanks a lot for coming on and spending a few minutes with us and talking about Back to the Future.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Strickland.
Were you a slacker?
No.
I am a slacker.
I think I like the Strickland from the second one.
Really?
Where he shoots back.
That's a good one, too.
Eat lead, slacker.
And, there's good chemistry between many actors. And that's what
I always wanted to know that, and I finally got my answer.
Yeah.
That one scene, the first time we ever see Mr. Strickland, when Marty gets his detention.
Yeah,
and they're literally nose to nose.
Yeah.
I always thought that it took a lot of takes because, one of them must have cracked.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of surprised to learn that it only took about 2 or 3 takes.
Wow.
Which, again, just goes to show how good actors both of them are, Michael J. Fox and James Tolkan.
It's true.
So there we go. Continuing, you having fun?
I'm having a blast.
This is your day. This is your movie.
This is heavy. This is heavy.
So let's keep it going. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, flux capacitor still fluxing. So we can keep it going. Do we need more plutonium?
No.
Or are we okay?
I think we'll just use some food instead for
Mr. Fusion?
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Mr. Fusion, Bob Gale, we didn't mention that on the air, but Bob Gale has a Mr. Fusion, the prop from the movie. He kept one and he turned it into a lamp.
Oh, that's
so he
cool.
has a Mr. Fusion lamp, working lamp in his house.
Nice.
That was a little story I read. I forget where I read it, but there's a story that I read about that somewhere.
Good.
When we come back, we'll listen to somebody tell us about a website that's all about Back to the Future. Very appropriate today, so we'll be right back.
Geek Speak Radio Show will be right back.